I was just talking, well, really listening to the Lord, and He was talking to me, and we were just talking through. He was talking me through father wounds. I'm doing a Bible plan on father wounds. He was just talking me through it and showing me, where my father wounds are at. But as we're going through this process, He started to say all those things that I longed for, and how I have a cycle of longing for things. It started longing for my father. For people that don't know, I didn't meet my dad till I was in my late teens. I begged and pleaded and asked all my life to just know who he was. And I didn't meet him till my late teens. And so there was a cycle of longing. Always a cycle of longing for something that I didn't have, but I knew was missing. So I just kept asking and asking, and I wouldn't receive an answer. And then finally, the cat was out of the bag, and I found out. My aunt told me, she wrote me a letter and a card. I still have the card, and she told me who he was. And that started the cycle of me being able to meet him in person. It's so crazy how the Lord works, because I had met him before and I didn't even know who he was, but I could feel something different about him when I met him. And I prayed and I said, Lord, I don't know who he is. I don't know who he is. I said, but when I meet my dad, I want my dad to be like him. And a couple years later, it was him. No, true. So your body knows, your heart knows, your spirit knows who it is. Even when you don't know, even when they don't know, a part of you knows. It's so essential that we're not negligent in allowing our children to meet both of their parents. It's so important to have two-parent households. And I know that life don't always work out, but even if it don't, you can't have a two-parent household. They need to be present if they're able to be present. Because there's certain things that only a father can teach his daughter. There's only certain things that only a daughter can learn from her father. She can only learn their protection and understanding of who she is, and being able to be secure in who she is from him. Because he's her father, he is her protection. He covers her even when she's going the wrong way. So for me, having a revelation of, that's why I want to get married so bad. That's why I want my own family. Because I've never had my own family. I've always been the add-on. I was the add-on with my mom, because my mom was married and had 2 boys after she had me. I was the add-on with my dad. I always been the add-on, because my dad already had a wife and kids once he found out about me. So though I was the first child, I was the extra, which creates that feeling of rejection, which I already had anyway, which perpetuates that spirit of rejection, which perpetuates that feeling of not being worthy, not being seen, being overlooked, which makes me strive harder for the stuff that I want, which makes me strive harder to show people that I am worthy. But as I was pondering and going through this stuff with the Holy Spirit, he told me, I see you. He just started pouring all these words and affirmations over me. But as I was talking to him, he said, you're enough for me. You're enough. You're like you are. And it just made me start crying, because sometimes we don't realize how much we just need to know that we in ourselves are enough. That the Lord would do the work in us, that he would do whatever he needs to do, but we in ourselves are enough. He loves us enough just like we are. That's why he sees us, he fights for us, he continues to pursue us, because we are enough. And I'm sorry for crying, but I just needed somebody else to see that and know that today, that regardless what the world tells you, regardless what people tell you, how you feel about yourself, the Lord has called you enough, because he loved you. He died for you, that you could be in right standing with the Father. So know that you are worthy. You are enough for him to die for you. Somebody thought that you were enough. I love y'all.